And this is no shade to Quinta, but the way you was out here talking about some you don't have any white friends while having a white ex-husband and signed off and did that gorilla skit, I got some questions for you, but I already got the answers. Let's talk about it.
Y'all already know what time it is. I got the black V-neck on.
What's going on, y'all? It's time for another King of Reads video. It's been a minute since I did a King of Reads video. Well, in the studio, not live. Catch that reference. But what is going on, you all? It is May. May is here, girl. May flowers. I don't even know. Climate change, all of the things that's going on. It's 50 degrees at night in Atlanta. It was 80 degrees last week. I don't know what's going on, but Georgia Power, you're not seeing heaven. Everybody who is dealing with high energy bills right now, I'm praying for you because I want you to pray for me too, because the way I had to set up a payment arrangement for Georgia Power and then write a bad check, I'm tired. I'm tired of paying bills. I'm tired. Girl, the tariffs, everything else. But we're going to laugh and we're going to do the best that we can. We're going to laugh. We got a couple of things to talk about. We got to talk about Beyoncé and her cease and desist. Child, the folks said, girl, you better put that spear down and pick something else up. We got to talk about that. We also got to talk about the Diddy trial. They're having a tough time getting jurors because everybody knows who Diddy is. Like, everybody knows that. We got to talk about that. Got to talk about the gorilla skit. And I also want to talk about comedy and social media because I have some thoughts. We got to get into the fashions. This is the best shirt I got, so I had to break out something out the closet. But we got a lot to get into. We got to talk about Future cutting his hair off, what the Met Gala was giving, and is it Met Gala or Met Gala? Which one is it? I'll ask you. But before we get into any of that, let's go ahead and get to this mental health check-in. Mental health, girl, I had to take a week off. I had to take a week off from YouTube for a second to get my bearings together. And I feel good. April brought me a lot of joy. Shout out to all of the new people who signed up over at Patreon. Shout out to all the people who are watching the content. Y'all was out here getting the content last month. I was working and I had to take a little break, but I appreciate you all. Now, let me not talk too much because when somebody said, I'm not here for the lecture. Somebody said they didn't want me to talk too much, but I'm going to talk. That's what I'm going to do. I mean, I literally have report cards from the 4th grade of me talking too much. Like, that's literally the notes that they said. So look at me now. It's been a good week so far. Dealing with a little stuff, trying to help some folks get their life back on track. Whew, girl, like being the strong friend right now is taxing. It is taxing. Oh my gosh. A lot of things I want to talk about. There is some more controversial stuff I'll talk about over on Patreon. So if you have $5 or $10 to sign up to support me, even if you are interested and you like, hey, Justin, I'm on a budget, DM me. I got a couple of little, free subscriptions I can give to some folks and stuff for people who want to support. But yeah, if you're interested in that, just DM me, message me, and I'll do what I can. Now, I can't give out too many, but I can work with some folks. So some folks I've already gotten some, so shout out to them. But other than that, it's a pretty good week. We're going to do the best we can. I'm calling this the first week. Last week doesn't count. But like Brandon said, almost doesn't count. So let's go ahead and get into the tea for today. The tea is, let's go ahead. I know y'all here for the fashions, but I got to go ahead and talk about this gorilla skit situation. I want to get the BS out the way already. So Saturday Night Live did a gorilla skit with Quinta Brunson, and girl, it just was not giving. And there's been a lot of conversation about it online. And somebody said, oh, we got black girls doing comedy like this again. It is a recession indicator. It's given 2008. Let me say this, because I have so much. Because all I can think about is Quinta Brunson, when she did her interview or podcast, she said she doesn't have white friends.
But, that's not okay, Kate.
But can we?
That's not okay,
Are you
Kate.
aware that
Yes,
Bon Jovi
I know that.
Okay.
I don't know white people. I know you. I know Tina Fey. I know.
That's it.
I know white people in comedy. Okay?
You don't need to know.
You feel me?
I'm like, girl, your ex-husband is white. Here's my thing, and it's no shade to Quinta Brunson. I think she's extremely talented. I love what she's doing over at Abbott Elementary. I love that. I'm loving that folks are enjoying her stuff. But if we're going to be honest, and this is something I've been I've had in the back of my mind, I'm not really surprised that Quinta agreed to do this. It doesn't surprise me. I don't know why folks are like, oh, why would she do this? Like, this is kind of Quinta a little bit. If you watch some of the skits and stuff, I'm not saying like that she's tap dancing, but to be honest, black folks, we all somewhat shape or form. Like if you do any type of content, it's gonna be a little bit. It's going to be a little bit. My issue with the content with some folks is when y'all do this type of content and then y'all go and have nothing but white partners, I be having a lot of questions.
Oh, child, I want to know what's the T, honey? What's the TMZ, girl? Y'all caught me out here trying to make some coins.
This is what y'all see in black folks. Is that why y'all don't never have no black partners? Because this is what y'all see. Is this why y'all don't never have any black partners? Because this is how you see blackness. But you can perform it for laughs and giggles. So I can tell no black folks who are around black folks are around in the writer's room and stuff like this. And there's a conversation happening right now, which I am really taking notes from, about how all of us are like, even though we live in the United States and folks who live outside, we are black, but there is subcultures of us. Like there is not no one thing. There's not no one thing. And I agree with that. And that conversation came and derived from what was being said about sinners and stuff. And once I get a better understanding, I'll explain it a little bit better. But there's a conversation about it from some of my mutuals that are having it. Like check out some of the people have been retweeting. One of my faves, I'm gonna shout them out on Twitter. So I think their name is Julian Akia Rose. It might be Juliana, but I'm thinking it's Julian Akia Rose. Emotionally Intelligent Poppy, one of my new favorite accounts. Like one of my new favorite accounts on Twitter. All the information they be putting out just be touching me, and I'm learning so much from the people that they're sharing. And they're an ATL organizer, and I have a lot of respect for the work that they do. You can tell they're involved in community in that conversation. There's a couple other things they talked about with sinners. I'm like, ooh, they've been hitting it. They've been hitting it. And I love an in-depth conversation and analysis on things. And just because everyone has a way to access a platform and post content doesn't mean that they should, which we'll get into in a second. So the whole skit really comes from the conversation about 100 men versus one gorilla. There's been a lot of stuff said about it on TikTok and Twitter. And I'm thinking this is where the skit is coming from. And it just missed the moment. I think there's two things that are jumping out of my head is so much of the content that we're getting from Saturday Night Live and the BET Awards and award shows, they come from, even going back to Issa Rae's show, a lot of it comes from social media, and I hate it. A lot of the content is super wrapped around what is funny online, and it just does not hit the same. It does not hit the same. Like, I want new concepts, new things, and what's happening is the powers that be, these people in charge of the content that we consume on these shows, they don't want to do anything different. They want something very easy, very quick. Feed them. Like, that's it. It's not about creating new ideas and new things. That's why we're getting these repetitive movies, sequels and prequels, because they don't want to invest in something new. And then when something like Sinners does well, like, oh, wow, what's going on? We want new things. We don't know it yet, but we want new things. And I need folks to take risks. This was not a risk at all. This was copy and paste. Oh, they talking about this. Let's talk about it on Saturday Night Live. Now, SNL is known for taking things from what is trending and talking about it. They used to do it a lot with the political stuff that was going on. So I get that. That's what they do. They'll take it. But some of the stuff gets very lazy. And this black skit is not for Saturday Night Live. It's not. The reason why so many folks were ticked off from it is because this was from a white lens. It was shucking and jiving. Like, honestly, watching it, I thought I was watching RuPaul's Drag Race, like, no shade. Because RuPaul loves stuff like that. RuPaul loves a good ghetto, hood thing. He loves that. But yet, when we see RuPaul and the people who work on the shows, they don't look like us. Even the dancers, all of them are white. Like, I've already talked about it, and I've kind of stayed away from it a little bit because it can be controversial. I don't want to deal with them fans over at RuPaul. But RuPaul's Drag Race has always gave me like Raccoon Race, if we're being honest. Every time like there is a black queen on there, they have to play the ghetto girl, hood girl. Like RuPaul loves that. He loves that caricature stuff. And if you want to make RuPaul laugh as a black queen, you have to play into that. You have to play into it. And you also have to have a white partner. Like that's what you have to do. So it gave me like the same writers on SNL work for RuPaul, like on Drag Race. That's what it's given to me. But that is a representation of Hollywood and how they see blackness. And folks were turned off by it. And we had every right to. It's not that like gorilla, all of that. It's just what is happening? What is the joke? And it wasn't even funny. And watching Quinta do, I'm like, Quinta could have said, hey, no, this ain't giving. I don't know about that one. Hey, mama, I don't know about this one. Like, you got to push back sometimes. Say, hey, I don't know about this one. But the fact that she agreed to do this, like, what is going on? So I don't get it. I don't want to get it. To be honest, I just want us to understand where these things come from and who are the people writing these things. I know for a fact watching this is for a white audience. This is for the white gays. Point blank, period. Like, this is all it is. And I'm not surprised that Quinta was a part of it. Not saying that, and I want to be clear, I'm not saying Quinta's a bad person or any of that. I'm just not surprised that it got done and then she was a part of it. Now, sometimes when they do certain things on SNL, it's not as bad, but this was way bad. And the fact that they couldn't catch that tells me a lot about who is in the room and who ain't. But yeah, with that being said, let's move on. I want to talk about the Met Gala, dandyism, all of that, the great dandy, all of that. It was a lot going on at the Met. I think this is probably the first one in a minute that I've been invested in because so many black folks felt like they were being celebrated and appreciated. You even got Law Roach talking about stuff. They didn't fuck around and let black folks in the Met.
I want to say one thing. They don't up and make the Met Ball black.
And are you going to ruin this moment? I absolutely have to. Are black folks in the Met? I mean, terms and conditions may apply. Because did a lot of black fashion designers come up from this? Did they benefit from this? Because a lot of the white people who were showing up to this Met Gala did not work with black fashion houses. They didn't work with black stylists and all of that. They didn't even understand the concept. You got my girl Nicole Kidman talking about it's a button on top of a black piece of fabric.
As with, I mean, when you really look at this theme, dandy is all about where you take a black suit and put a beautiful different button or something to where it's completely individual and made for you.
Absolutely.
Which I love.
I love it too.
Like, a lot of them did not do the assignment. A lot of them did not study. They just said, hey, this is the performance stuff. Like, this really is a mirror of what Hollywood and be giving us. Like, we don't really care about studying and understanding these things. We just gonna come out and perform it for you all. And yay, celebrate black. Like, that's it. It's very performative. And it really goes to us asking, what do we gain from this? Like, this representation, a couple of folks fill their pockets up a little bit, but what does this do for us 5 years from now? When we have Anna Wintour, who has completely disrespected the great Andre Leon Talley. Like, he talked about that in his book, his treatment by her, and as well as the girls in the fashion industry, like how he was treated, how he died poor, broke. And I've had some critiques on Andre Leon Talley. I think he's very phenomenal. Like, I think he's extremely talented and brilliant. But I have to, hey, Andre, you want to be around these white people. You wanted to be in proximity with them. You wanted to assimilate to them. At what cost? At what cost? Because look how they did you. They celebrated you now to fill your pockets. Barely. Because the Met House, this fashion museum gets to stay open with so much money when we got folks who are going to bread lines, people who are using a farm and Klarna to pay for groceries and things. Like, this ain't really doing anything for me. This ain't really doing anything for me like that. So I'm just like, at what cost? So let's talk about a little bit about the fashions and stuff that was going on. I ain't gonna talk about it too much because y'all know when it comes to the fashion, child, you're gonna get us a graphic tee and probably a t-shirt And I had. Shout out to my girl Bernice, period. But yes, so let's get into a couple of fashion looks. Rihanna came out. We got to start with her. We got to start with Rihanna. Rihanna looked amazing. It was beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I was like, oh, Ree. Now, the girls did clock you. The girls clocked Ree because we knew she was probably pregnant. There was rumors about her being pregnant. And Rihanna is pregnant with her third child. Congratulations to her and A$AP Rocky. And some folks saying that Ree is trying to get that baby girl so bad. She wants that baby girl so bad. Yes, so Ree, the girls had said, child, we want R9, not 9 kids. I screamed. I screamed when the folks said that. Let Ree have her fun. She has given us several like memorable albums and things. Y'all better dance to that old shit. Like, y'all better enjoy yourselves. Ree don't owe us anything else. Like, it just, there's so much music that Rihanna has put out. She doesn't have to put no more music out. And that's another thing I want to talk about is that the way we consume music is like, what's next? What's next? And then y'all be out here talking about somebody flopping because the album didn't do as good. Was the music good? Did they take a risk? Did they enjoy creating this body of work? I don't want music every year or every 2 years. I don't even want to tour every 2 and 3 years. Give me something good and take a break to come up with new concepts and new materials. Stop giving us these instant things for cash grabs. Like, I'm not interested in it. And I feel like that's happening a lot. We've seen a lot of artists have to put out 2 albums in a year. Like, what's going on? Like, we've seen a couple of artists drop 2 projects in the same year. It's like, what is going on? And what is going on is the industry is being ruined by the way we consume music. Like, streaming, terrible. Like, streaming has done the worst to us. Not even just streaming music, but streaming media, how we consume shows, how shows are even created now. It's just, we're done. And we just do not have the attention spans that we used to have. And it's getting worse. Like, it's getting worse. Like, and I'm going to get into the whole conversation with that later because I want to talk about this conversation about Megan Thee Stallion flopping, because I think there's a lot of things missing from that. And I think seeing some stuff Meg could change up. For example, Meg at the Met. Megan Thee Stallion, the PIMP, like Texas girl, Houston, Texas, Meg, what is going on, girl? You should have ate down. She looked amazing in that gown. She looked pretty. Her, she looked good. But Megan, you should have came out there like, Tom the Cat, or was it Jerry? You should have came out in a big, like, you should have gave us something like imaginative. And I don't know who was in charge with Meg or who was responsible. It's not bad, but it's like that would have been the easiest assignment. I would have loved to see Megan in something like Janelle Monáe, what she had on Meg. I would have loved it. Like Janelle Monáe, oh my, there is something about the way she was just standing and looking with that monogram and that clock. I was like, girl, all I want to do was listen to clocks. All I want to go back and listen to my boy Hans Zimmer. No Time for Caution, like my favorite movie. I can't even think of the name of it. Go ahead and strike me down. Like, what's the name of that movie? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Like, I like that clock. Janelle Monáe ate that. I would have loved to see Megan in something like that would have ate down. I want to see more color. Janelle Monáe did it. I feel like there were so many misses. And there was a couple of white folks that surprised me. I was like, okay, girl, you just got through fighting that alligator, but you ate this look up. And who else? Oh my gosh, Tiana Taylor, amazing. Tiana Taylor came out there like the final boss, the final countdown. Tiana looked incredible. Who else came out there and just was really serving to me? Nikki came out there and ate. Nikki, let me tell you something. You looked good, sister. This is the Nikki I want to see. This gave, I'm a grown woman. I'm not in no mess. Like, I am ethereal. I am the moment. This is the Nicki Minaj that we want. This is not, they're yelling, push. This is the Nicki, like, glamorous, like, makeup. It just ain't like Nicki. You did it. You did this. Let's talk about my girl Doechii. Now, y'all know I love me some Doechii. I enjoy some Doechii. We got to talk about Doechii. Doechii ran into a little bit of an issue with trying to get on the Met. The paparazzi was trying to get a picture of her. The elevator opened up, and unfortunately, she did not have the little thing to protect her look before she walked out, and she was pissed off about it. And she was going off on the staff, and I'll play a little bit of it.
Oh no, oh no.
Yes, I'm ready. Give me another, no, stop. Give me another umbrella now. Another one, right there. And another one. Need another one.
Another umbrella.
Excuse me, I need four fucking umbrellas.
Two more umbrellas.
Because they're trying to sneak their fucking umbrella. Anybody, right there.
Two more umbrellas.
Yeah, so Doechii, this is her first Met Gala. Doechii has been very hungry for this for a while. She's been on YouTube creating content and music and things for a while. So this was important to her. You can tell that she enjoys fashion. She enjoys looks and stuff. So she was in her feelings bad. And she was going off. She was screaming for another umbrella to protect her. And a lot of folks said, hey, Doechii, you was doing a lot for this outfit and it wasn't really giving that much. It really wasn't giving that much for you to be doing all of that. Now, some people said this is blown out of proportion. Like Doechii, you know, a lot of celebrities, when they're in the moment, they talk like this, and this is just what it is. And some folks were saying, y'all just do not like Doechii, and y'all looking for a reason to get her out of here or whatever. I think it's a mixture of a couple of things. I do believe there are some people who do not see it for Doechii for whatever reason. A lot of it is colorism and misogynoir. And they're looking for a moment to pick her apart. And I think this was that for them. They will say they have an issue with how Doechii was talking to her staff and then go on and be the complete opposite with somebody else. Like, if you're going to have that politics to not have people in positions of power with their employees and staff talking to them down like that, you need to be consistent. I wasn't feeling it. And I like Doechii. I was not feeling that. I hope that Doechii had a conversation with them and she apologized for that and whatever. I don't know their relationship. Maybe that is what it is giving. But I will say, as a person who listens to Doechii and a person who enjoys her music and her as a person, I was a little disappointed seeing that. So I hope that she had a conversation with them and talked about that. Because that's unacceptable. That's unacceptable. I need folks to learn how to control their anger. Like, that is what we teach children to do, to control their emotions. And a lot of us adults call ourselves adults, and we do not know how to control our emotions and not control them in a way like you shouldn't cry, but you shouldn't be that you're screaming at someone. I do not care. I had a bad experience at a restaurant this weekend, which I will be doing a video about. And I kept my cool. Like, I was severely disappointed in how things were going, but I knew I'm not going to take my anger out on a server or anybody. I just will not come back to this establishment. Like, that's just what it's giving. So yeah, I did not agree with that, Doechii. I thought her outfit was cute. I wasn't blown away by it, but it was cute. Who else was out here serving? Jodie Turner-Smith looked good. Oh my God, Jodie Turner looked good. This was good. Also Future, I didn't like the outfit. I don't think he understood the assignment of whoever styled him, but Future apparently took his locks out. There's been a lot of people who've been cutting their locks lately. There's been a lot of people cutting their locks off and taking them. And are we going back? I feel like the way we're talking about hair right now, I feel like we're kind of regressing a little bit.
All the rappers cutting their hair off. Everybody's cutting their hair off and getting tip fades. The world is healing, guys.
I'm seeing a conversation about, well, I missed the deep waves. I missed the deep waves and the 360 waves. And I remember this guy was trying to talk to me and he made a comment about him not liking locks. This was like a couple years ago. And I gave him a chop. You're not, like, your reason for not liking locks is what? What is your reason? I don't like locks. I don't like long hair. That's just not something I'm saying. Why is that? And specifically, why are you saying that knowing the history of what black folks experience with their hair? I don't know. So the way folks talking about hair and stuff, Are we going back to the good hair days? I think we never left. If we're being honest, it's just performative. But yeah, the Met Gala situation, I think a lot of folks missed it. I think some folks did exceptionally well, but I do have some questions of what does this do for Black folks. I think that Zendaya looked good. The tailoring on her suit looked good. There's a couple of folks who I cannot remember. Tyler Perry, this was his first time at the Met. For somebody who is a reported billionaire, like, it gave Mr. Monopoly needing some refund checks. Like, it just did not give. Like, Tyler Perry, for all the access, like, all the access, I guess if you would have dressed up as Madea, you would have probably served. You know what? Tyler Perry should have came out as Madea in Dandyism. I would have ate it up. He should have came out as Madea, and I guarantee he would have put his foot in it. With a pistol and everything. But yes, child. So yeah, that's my thoughts around the Met Gala. I want to move on and I want to talk about this crab in this glass air fryer situation. Like, this TikTok video of this woman putting a crab in, like, 2 crabs in a air fryer, a glass air fryer, recording it and posting it on TikTok for folks to enjoy or consume. What is going on? Like, I do not understand. One, yes, the crab eventually will have to go. Like, she gonna have to be unalive for me to eat her. But with that being said, and I'm not saying you need to be spiritual, whatever, when you're doing that, when you're about to eat meat or whatever, to cook the crab in an air fryer is one thing. Like, to do that, oh, I'm gonna put it in hot water, something's gonna happen to it if I put it in boiling water. Even if you don't understand how the difference of putting them in hot water and boiling them to the moisture being taken out of them over time, the fact that you recorded it and posted on TikTok, I want to talk about that. The fact that you recorded it and posted it on TikTok for consumption, like, you really filmed you harming an animal. Yeah, you wanted to eat it, and honestly, it wasn't even seasoned that good. But to do that, post it for engagement and leave it up is questionable. Now, there's ethical ways of doing things with live seafood. Some people say that you're supposed to leave it on ice, keep them really, really chilled. When you do that, they are in a, like, very comatose state. So putting them in the boiling water, it's kind of like instant. Even Gordon Ramsay, when he cooks lobster, he does it quickly, instantly. I've seen people do that when it comes to squid, for calamari and other dishes and things, even fish. I'm just not understanding why we need to see you do it. It's one thing for you to do it, because a lot of us are consuming products from animals that have not been humanely chopped. Let's be honest. We don't know that. And considering how much capitalism affects the food that we enjoy and we eat, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of the meat we consume is done in a very unethical way. But to film it and to show us for engagement, it gives me the vibes of kids who skin cats and stuff. Like, it gives that type of behavior. I don't know if folks seen the new season of Black Mirror, the first episode. I'm not going to spoil it, but there was something that was done in the background that came later on, and it was involving streaming, like how people would do things for streaming, how people were doing shock value things to get people attention to pay so they can survive. That goes back into the conversation I've had about stuff for attention and how we consume content now. Like, we're bored. Our attention spans, I think, is really deeper than our attention spans. I think we constantly need those dopamine hits. I think that is what's going on. And people are going beyond the basics to get attention. Like, even the trend on TikTok now where folks are moving the phone before they start talking. If you're a good storyteller, you don't have to do all these theatrics to get people to pay attention. And I don't want to be the old man on the stoop, but I remember when folks were recording on webcams and stuff. When I first started, I was doing videos on webcam. Like, I was the moment. I was the thing that made people come in. It wasn't things to trick the algorithm. And I get how these things move and we have to do it, but I'm not willing to play into that. I'm not willing to use these things to make people pay attention. If they do not want to pay attention to what I'm saying, then they just won't get it. But I know that I'm remaining true to myself and creating the quality of content that I enjoy and I want people to consume, no matter how many people are interested in it. And that goes into the music, how we consume music, and also other forms of media like movies and TV shows. It shouldn't be about grasping folks' attention so much, but making a good quality body of work. That's what's important. And honestly, considering where things are now, even some of our faves are having to do things to tie into social media to get us to consume them. And not because they are putting out something that is better than the last, but maybe because they need the money. And that's another conversation. Moving on, because y'all ain't gonna get too much. So let's move on. Let's talk about the Diddy Trial a little bit. The Diddy Trial started yesterday, and they are in the beginning process of selecting jurors. And it's been a little bit difficult because a lot of the folks know who Diddy is. There were jurors who were being asked questions about, have they seen the video of Cassie and Diddy? And some of them said they have. One person said they saw the screenshot of it. And it's going to be difficult finding these folks, to find somebody who's impartial to this case. And according to Lauren LaRosa, she was there. Shout out to her over at the Breakfast Club, the best thing to happen at the Breakfast Club. She said she sat in there and there was a person whose wife was involved with the stampede with Diddy so many years ago. And he's not going to be a juror. Like, they're very strict over there. And even Lauren said that Diddy seems to be more involved. She did say that he was pale and thinner than he usually is, but you can tell he is involved because his life is on the line, and it is. And the more this goes on, I'm getting nervous that Diddy might get off a little bit, just a little bit, because he has a team behind him, and this team is not trying to just get Diddy free. They want to make a name for themselves. If they can find something to dismiss this case or get Diddy a less sentencing, they will jump up. Like, it will jump up. They're doing it for the attention of it because they know it's going to bring more money and more clients. So yeah, got that going on. Child, I will be paying attention to it and seeing what's going on with it and tell y'all how I feel. Also, I want to end this talking about the Beyoncé Sphere situation. So Beyoncé apparently got a cease and desist from the owner over there at the Sphere in Las Vegas. She had it in her Cowboy Carter, the media that she was showing at the tour, at the concert, and they sent her cease and desist. They said, hey girl, take this out. Like, no ma'am. So there's a little tea that's going on with this. So Beyonce's team has taken the Sphere out and has put the Allegiant Stadium in place of it. Now, you can tell it was something added very quickly because it doesn't even look the same. Now, there is some tea that has came out a little bit, and it does make a little bit of sense. Remember the conversation about Beyonce possibly doing a residency? So there's a rumor that she was in talk to do that at the Sphere. And they said that the Sphere was not willing to give her enough time to shut down the Sphere to do rehearsals. They couldn't do it. They said, hey girl, we got to make some money. We can't shut down for that long. We're not going to be able to do that. And they walked away from the deal, reportedly, allegedly, whatever. And now there's a rumor that Beyonce is maybe doing a residency in the future with MGM. And you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if that was real. I wouldn't be surprised if there was something going on with that. I'm gonna tell you why it makes a little bit of sense and why I do believe there might be a conversation that Beyonce is having to do a residency at Las Vegas. It will make sense. I wasn't sold on it, but I do believe there might be a conversation because Las Vegas is struggling right now. They are projected to do worse than they did last year, and it hasn't been this sort of decline since maybe 2021. And that was around the pandemic. So yes, a conversation could be said about the people around the world not interested in visiting the United States. Also, generations not as enthused by Las Vegas, and their version of gambling is doing sports betting on their phones. Yeah, but I do believe that maybe somebody's interested to bring in an audience to Vegas and may spend money to get Beyonce there. There's also talks that she might do a residency in London. I don't know if any of that is true, but I would be surprised if she was in talks to do something at the Sphere and that things changed because the Sphere did not want to lose out on any money, which is why they sent that cease and desist to be petty. The fact that they responded to it lets me know that they were a little bit ticked off about something. Their ego was definitely affected by that. Like, because I just don't see the purpose of, like, it's bringing you attention, but they recognize it as something that is petty towards them. Like, oh girl, like it was giving that. And Beyonce took it down. And let me say this, there is a lot happening on social media with this concert. And y'all already know how I felt. I've already did a video discussing the things and why I've said that this tour is not going to be as successful as Renaissance because it's too soon. And now we're seeing the chickens come home to roost. Like, I've already said that a lot of folks do not have no money and that it was too soon for this tour. And you can clearly see that with the ticket incident. Like, the ticket sales are not doing as well, which is why they have slashed the prices of them. They're even partnering with Marriott, that if you get a room, you'll get a free ticket or something, like a discount on a ticket or whatever. The tour is not doing well. And that doesn't mean that Beyonce cannot sell, doesn't mean she's not talented. It just means that we do not have the money, and those tickets were overinflated. They were way too expensive. Now, folks, I'm actually glad that they have taken a moment to say, hey, girl, these tickets are way too expensive. Now they're coming off a little bit better, like affordable for some folks. Some people are saying they're able to get $56 tickets and enjoy. Like, that's what I care about. I just remember when the Billboard article came out and they were saying that 96% of the tickets were sold. It just didn't make sense to me, because if 96% of the tickets are sold, why are so many resale? Why are so many resale? And people were arguing, oh, well, the tickets were bought by these folks who want to scalp tickets and sell them for a higher price. Yes, absolutely. That happened for Renaissance too. And people were buying the resale tickets. They were buying the resale tickets. The problem is now folks ain't as interested and they're not buying these inflated tickets. They're just not doing it. They just saw her 2 years ago. They're not interested in that for that amount of money. And we can be honest and just say that. That doesn't take away from B and her work ethic. Like, but let's be honest. I mean, there's so much I want to get into, but like, I don't know if this is a safe space, but yeah, I just need folks to be honest about it. And it is in benefit of the people who want to go, who might not have the money to spend $300-400, but have $50, because those tickets, even the nosebleeds, were out of control. So I'm glad to see that the prices are coming down. It's a little bit more affordable for folks. Yeah, so especially with this student loan mess coming on with the federal student loans, like, come on now, like, come on now. But that's all I got, you all. I enjoyed talking to you all. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Tell me your thoughts about all the subjects we talked about today. Let me know in the comments, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.